Ladies and gentlemen, depending on who you speak to today, the budget announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is either a dream budget, a budget for the ages, or a dismal one with no direction. But the truth, as always, is somewhere in the middle. There is a clear effort by the government to create jobs which are critical not just for our economy, but for our society as well. So that is a good thing. The government, though, has fallen short of giving any major relief to taxpayers. Yes, tax slabs have been revised, but there is nothing tectonic. And if you are in the market to sell your house, God save you. But that is not what caught the attention of the opposition today. What had them absolutely hopping mad was the amount of love and money that was showered on two states that are critical to the Modi government's survival at the center, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. Now, Bihar's special status dream came partially true after Nirmala Sitharaman announced 60,000 crore rupees for various projects, new airports, 3 expressways, heritage corridors, and even a power plant in Bhagalpur. Nitish Kumar said he was happy. Not just Bihar, another ally, Andhra Pradesh, has been showered with funds as well. Most of Mr. Naidu's wish list has been fulfilled. 15,000 crore rupees have been allocated for Andhra Pradesh's under-construction capital, Amravati. The finance minister has said on the floor of the House that more money will be given in the future. Ms. Sitharaman has also said she's fully committed to the completion and the financing of the Polavaram irrigation project, which is a lifeline for farmers in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Also, 3 districts in the state will be given backward region grants. Mr. Naidu is saying this is like oxygen for the state.
మనస్ఫూర్తిగా ఈ సభ ద్వారా కేంద్రానికి ధన్యవాదాలు కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. ఈ బిగినింగ్ మాత్రం వెంటిలేటర్ పై నుండి ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థకి ఇప్పుడు ఆక్సిజన్ ఇచ్చారు. ఇది ఆక్సిజన్ మాత్రమే, ఇది ప్రారంభం మాత్రమే. ఇక్కడి నుంచి మనం కూడా కష్టపడాలి. మనం కష్టపడాలి, కేంద్రం సహకరించాలి. ఈ రెండో తీసుకొని మనం ముందుకు పోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది.
Now the opposition is calling this largest to the two allies Prime Minister Bachao Yojana, essentially saying that the budget has been designed to please the ones who are keeping the government afloat. Listen in.
ओवरऑल देखूं या हिस्सों में देखूं, ये बजट फिर से निराश करता है हमें। आज देश के समक्ष सबसे महती समस्या है बेरोजगारी को लेकर के। एक ऑर्गेनिक मॉडल जो होना चाहिए था एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन का, शायद इनके विजडम इंडेक्स में फॉल ही नहीं करता है, समझते ही नहीं है। कॉपी पेस्ट कर लिया कुछ हम कांग्रेस के मैनिफेस्टो से, कुछ हमारे मैनिफेस्टो से, तो एक्नॉलेज करो ना भाई, फिर आधा अधूरा क्यों? स्पेशल स्टेटस की जब हम बात करते हैं उसमें कई तरह के बेनिफिट्स हैं जिसको बिहार की जरूरत, आज बिहार को उसकी जरूरत है। कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स एक्सम्पशन है, कस्टम एक्साइज से है, और तरह की टैक्स हॉलीडेज हैं, 90% ग्रांट स्टेट सेंटर बेयर करता है, और भी कई तरह। वो बिहार की आज की जरूरत है। आप उस जरूरत को समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं। आप रेटोरिक में जीना चाहते हैं और लोगों को जिलाना चाहते हैं। बिहार आज चीटेड फील कर रहा है।
देखिए, जब तक किसान और नौजवानों के पक्की नौकरी का इंतजाम नहीं होगा तब तक कोई बड़ा लाभ नहीं पहुंचेगा जनता को।
आपको लगता है कि असेंबली चुनाव जब होने वाले हैं आगामी, उसमें ये बजट असर करेगा, इनकी नीतियां असर करेंगी?
स्वाभाविक है, क्योंकि सरकार जब चलती है सरकार के फैसलों से असर पड़ता है।
के अलायंस 230 कुल मिलाकर कितने पार्टियां थे? 25, 26 पता नहीं, मैं गिनी नहीं, बट इन डी 37 पार्टीज कुल मिलाकर के 230 पार नहीं किया, और वो बोल रहे हैं कुर्सी बचाने के लिए। जब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बने और देश के लिए इतना घोषणा भी कर रहे हैं जिससे भारत देश का हर राज्य सामने आए, डेवलप हुए, और 1.50 लाख करोड़ इस बार बजट में स्टेट्स के लिए हम दे रहे हैं बिना इंटरेस्ट 50 साल के लिए फ्री। फिनांस कमीशन तो हमारे उनके सजेशन में इसका जिक्र तक नहीं किए, हम ही कर रहे हैं स्टेट्स के साथ काम करने के लिए। हर स्टेट का उनके अपने अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स जो प्रोसेस के चलते हुए आता है उन सबको हम मानते हैं और जरूर उनको जो फाइनेंस करना है वो हम करेंगे।
Straight across to Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Tharoor, I saw your tweet this evening. You're calling the budget underwhelming when there is so much focus on jobs by the government. That's a good thing. Why is it underwhelming then?
Well, unemployment is clearly the most important issue facing the country today, and I'm certainly glad the government has acknowledged that. But the truth is that the ideas they took from us out of our budget, out of our manifesto, have been diluted in ways that we wish they hadn't been. For example, we had an apprenticeship scheme that would have paid everybody ₹1,00,000 a year. They've diluted that to an internship scheme. An apprenticeship scheme prepares you for a job. An internship scheme is merely an assistance job, so down to ₹5,000 a month. On top of that, some of that money can be spent out of CSR funds by the company, and that's money that really should be devoted to addressing social ills and not just money they can spend on themselves, which is what the companies can now do. So that's a dilution. We had also offered an idea for an employment-linked incentive, which would have given a tax credit to companies for hiring people, for more employees. They have now instead reduced that to an EPFO contribution, so that's also a dilution. Some of these ideas, in other words, are not going to do enough to tackle the unemployment crisis facing our country, which is horrendous. 44.3%, 45.3% of our young people have no work. 44% of graduates have no work. And that's a terrible situation that the government's measures, we don't feel, will go far enough to address. But at least they've acknowledged unemployment. Back in 2016 in the Lok Sabha, I had suggested to Mr. Arun Jaitley that he should abolish or at least significantly reduce the angel tax. It took them 8 years to do what I suggested then, so at least on that I can be happy. It's an idea whose time apparently has come. It should have come a long time earlier. We need to encourage more investment in our economy in order to generate more jobs. And there just isn't enough of that. In fact, FDI has gone down on this government's watch colossally. Today, real FDI levels, after $44 billion of withdrawals by foreign investors, have come down to levels that are not seen since 2006. So there's a real crisis of getting both foreign investment and domestic investment in ways that can actually generate jobs for our people, particularly our young people. And that remains for me a matter of very, very major concern.
Mr. Tharoor, as the opposition, you have every right to criticize this budget on various aspects. But why call it the Kursi Bachao budget? The finance minister is saying that this is not a budget for two states. Bihar and Andhra Pradesh need the money, therefore they are getting it.
No, the question is, we don't begrudge the fact that Bihar and Andhra are getting allocations, for God's sake. What we begrudge is the fact there are 26 other states and 8 other union territories which have nothing to be happy about in this budget. That's the problem. We would love to get the same kind of attention. When Bihar gets a highway project, we'd like, Kerala to get one. When Andhra gets an irrigation project, we'd like Karnataka to get one. I mean, the truth is that you can't only favor states that you happen to be ruling in or dependent on for your government to survive. That's the point we're trying to make. But look, there are larger issues. You know, the government's capital expenditure for infrastructure, the government wants us to applaud them. But what's been happening to our infrastructure of late? You're looking at a crisis, as you know, Shreya, where the Delhi airport terminal 1 collapsed. You've got 2 other airport canopies in Rajkot and Jabalpur collapsing. You've had 5 bridges in Bihar that have collapsed. You're looking at a situation where the Mumbai Trans-Harbour link, which was inaugurated by the PB PM in January has already developed cracks, where the Pragati Maidan, which was inaugurated by the PM less than 2 years ago, has developed major seepages. So what is this capital expenditure worth if it doesn't actually generate enduring, lasting assets of which every Indian can be proud? My concern, Shreya, very simply, is that you really need a serious look at what you're claiming in your budget speech. The finance minister talked about how tourism is going to be created through all this capital expenditure and infrastructure. But if your infrastructure is collapsing on your tourists, what are you going to be doing for tourism in our country, you tell me?
Okay, my last question to you is one that impacts India's urban middle class. Income tax slabs have been revised. There'll be marginal gains for the middle class, but at least that's something, and something is better than nothing.
It's very marginal when you're looking at a country where 80% of the population claim their income has gone down in the last 10 years, and where, frankly, you're looking at food price inflation of 9.4%. That in our country is serious, because the vast majority of our ordinary people spend 70 to 80% of their budget on food. And if the cost of food goes up by 9.4%, that simply means they will eat less than they ate last year. And each year it's going up, Shreya. The government has to think very seriously about the colossal income inequality in our country, which is worse than it was in the days of the British Raj. They have to think in terms of the fact that the income, the real income in the hands of people at the bottom of the pyramid has absolutely collapsed thanks to their policies. You're giving massive tax cuts to the corporates and to the billionaires. What have you done for the ordinary poor people? Absolutely nothing. Their purchasing power hasn't gone up at all.
Okay.
The finance minister didn't even mention Manrega in her speech. And Manrega is one where the demands of the rural poor for work that will pay them some decent living wage and allow them to live in dignity has all disappeared.
Okay, Mr. Tharoor, always good to speak to you here on Mirror Now. Thank you very much for your views on the budget that has been presented by Nirmala Sitharaman. Thank you very much.